BlackRock's Larry Fink is worried about economic malaise ahead. So, one of the biggest asset managers in the entire world, bigger than dang near every country GDP in the entire world, Larry Fink is the kingpin of this. And they are one of the funds really carrying out a lot of the dirty work of the world, whether it's government actions they want to take, America, the ESG movements, and these guys are the ones that run that and really the ones that make that all work. And now they are the ones that have, one, jumped into Bitcoin this year as well, because they understand how good Bitcoin is for the environment, actually. Completely counterintuitive. That might come as a surprise to some of you, how counterintuitive it is to the narrative of, oh, Bitcoin's energy intensive and all this garbage, completely out of context. Guys like him, some of the biggest money managers of smart money in the world, is moving in on Bitcoin and then also saying, yeah, we're probably going to get to 3 or 4% inflation. That's going to be the new target, basically. And then we can scale back from the bond purchases and things like that, or possibly going to them, because we're going to probably need more QE eventually. But that's neither here nor there. This is massive, though, because BlackRock, when they talk, when they make moves, people are pulling out of their ESG funds left and right. States are pulling out, asking for him to resign, actually. Many of these things, people are realizing the social credit scores are going into ESG, and really just the complete the fake fraud that is ESG and what's going on, what is being pushed for. Because again, these guys could care less. I mean, again, this channel is all about asking questions and trying to find truth in reality. So when you have hundreds of men and women flying from around the world that claim to have your best interest, and we're doing things for the world, and they claim they care about the environment, ESG is their one big push, which, as we know from the Club of Rome 50 years ago, was the genesis of the climate movement, and thinking of the problem that could captivate the entire world, that they could then push on everyone, because it encapsulated the entire world, because it had to be something that the whole world was impacted by. And then they could jump in on creating this narrative of the climate's going to freeze, or the climate's going to go up in flames, whatever it was. It was a global cooling first, then it was warming, then it was just climate change. Now it's just energy usage. They keep having to rebrand every decade or so, because nothing works, nothing is sticking. It just all their predictions and our models keep falling apart because it's based off of just hot air. No pun intended there. But that is the Club of Rome talked about this. It was a way to push an agenda, push a narrative, so they could capture wealth and recreate the world to their own liking. Just a top few unproductive class members. That's it. That's what this is for. Go back and read again, trust, don't verify. Don't listen to me. Go back, read the Club of Rome. Go back and check out what they were doing. Klaus Schwab was in on that. That Henry Kissinger, all these guys that started these movements, they're the ones in this together. Mentoring each other, starting these movements that could control people, control the world. And again, if you don't believe me, that's good. Go YouTube Klaus Schwab. Go YouTube Club of Rome. Go Google these things. Go look them up. Go look up their Wikipedias. Go look up everything you can about them. Go read Klaus Schwab's book, The Great Narrative, that I have right over here, and The Great Reset. Go read what these people are saying in the world that they want you to live in. You'll own nothing and you'll be happy. Central bank digital currencies will be the vehicle that they do that through. So this is now falling apart. These people are falling apart because people like you and I are now seeing the truth. We have people all over the peer-to-peer internet, peer-to-peer media, peer-to-peer journalism, Twitter, YouTube, influencers, social media people, content creators, just fed up citizens, global citizens, freedom-loving people, liberty-loving people all over the world are saying, I've had enough. And you see the protests all over the world, in Brazil, everywhere. I mean, they're just everywhere. Sri Lanka, people storming there. And again, Sri Lanka, mind you, collapsed. They stormed the president or prime minister's palace, as you might remember earlier this year. They had the highest ESG score. I believe it was 98%. It was highest or second highest ESG score from the United Nations or the World Economic Forum. That just shows you the entire country collapsed because things were so expensive. Rates started rising a little bit, and these people couldn't even put food on their tables because they were doing what the Dutch are doing. So now the Dutch, Europeans, everyone's going down this road of, we're closing up 3,000 farms. We're just taking them offline. They're ours now, eminent domain. You won't give in to what we say, farmers? Well, guess what? We're just going to take it from you. Well, that's not going to end well. That is not going to end well at all. Not only will it not end well, because that's not going to happen. The farmers aren't just going to give things up. Number two, even if you went down that road, Sri Lanka is your case study. You literally have a case study that happened just months ago, and the average person still, to this day, somehow doesn't get it, somehow doesn't see anything wrong with that. And they're like, oh, just go along to get along. These people are so few and far between that we have all the power. The 99% have the power. There are so many more of us than there are them. But as Dylan LeClaire and so many people say, there's just so many non-playable characters. There's so many NPCs out there that are just going around like drones. I mean, people talk about AI. Don't even get me started with AI and drones and robots. We already have drones. We have billions of them all around the world like this, walk around with a phone in their hand, completely just non-playable characters, just lost. As Bob Proctor says, if most people told you what they were thinking, they'd be speechless because most people aren't thinking at all. And this is just a story of time. It's just constantly doing what the herd does. The flock of birds or the school of fish just turns this way and then turns that way. We have to become what God wants us to be. It's God's highest form of creation. We are made in His image. I mean, think about that. We are that type of being. And yet so many of us just walk around. We've all been guilty of it. Just, buried in our phone, just not thinking, just not there. Like, hello, what are we doing? I mean, you got people all over the place in evidence everywhere around the world. Guys like this now saying, hey, we're going to be in a malaise. I'd call it a malaise. Yeah, because we're going to have a lost decade. It took from the Great Depression, 1930 or so, to 1954 is when it took, 1929, I think, to 54, 25 years took to get out of the Great Depression. Things went sideways and then down and then just up. It took that long to come out of where we were when we started the Great Depression. That's probably what we're looking at now, going forward. And then you got guys like this. We've been saying this for a while, and you got guys like this, BlackRock, managing some of the most money in the world, the most currency in the world, the most wealth in the world. They're saying that too. I mean, they are saying that. That's, we're reading between the lines, right? Taking in aggregate what people are saying. By the way, one quick little hack is with AI getting better in this chat GPT thing and the things everyone's playing with, you can make these stories and you can aggregate data. I mean, Peter Diamandis talks about this, where now instead of us, I've been talking about for a while now how you have to triangulate data, right? You have to look at all these different news sites and articles and all this different stuff to try to triangulate what is the actual truth. Well, think about with AI, if you can go read 1,000 news articles every single morning and give you the distilled down, 2, 5, 10 paragraph version of what's going on in the world or what you're looking for. Think about that. I mean, it's just one little quick thought of AI and how the world, there's so much hope for the world and what's going on. Daniel Batten says here, again, talking about ESG and just the scam of what people are saying in general, ESG being a scam, and then people saying Bitcoin is so energy intensive, it's not good. Again, BlackRock gets this. Again, I haven't fact checked all these. Do your own research. But again, I've seen these stats. These keep coming up over and over again about Bitcoin. I've done a fair amount of research on the energy side in Bitcoin. I didn't pull any of those stats. So again, go check these. But the number one industry user of clean energy worldwide is Bitcoin. And I have seen that before in many places. Number one growth rate in renewables. Again, I've seen that before. Number one user of recycled heat energy. I've never seen that stat before, but I would believe it because you have things like this. Bloomberg just in a couple months ago talking about methane, a big climate problem that Bitcoin can help solve. Well, why do you say that? Well, because gas flares and methane, things are being spewed into the atmosphere. They're putting Bitcoin mining machines on those, using that energy, cleaning up the environment, and then mining Bitcoin, turning it into monetary energy. Unbelievable. And then here's just another one. And there's many others, but I'm just two quick ones I was thinking of. Also, El Salvador taking their volcanoes they have. I think they have like 20 to 30 of them there. And they're using them to mine Bitcoin. Again, the carbon is going to the air, just the energy, the geothermal energy being used to create monetary energy, turning it into monetary digital energy. It's just absolutely incredible, cleaning up the environment, using our natural resources, our renewables, for the production of real monetary energy, the hardest asset we've ever known to man. And again, here's a quick little thing, by the way. This is I wanted to show this quick just because this popped up, but btcmap.org. If people always say, hey, where do I spend Bitcoin, or how do I, can I spend it anywhere? Here's a great place where you can add to it. Businesses that accept Bitcoin, you can go here. I believe it's all over the world. You can go check it out, see where businesses are accepting Bitcoin, and then, you're paying within seconds. That's the beauty of Bitcoin. Paying within seconds, final settlement. Can't be reversed. Anyway, quick side note. So, what are we talking about here, right? What are we saying? We're trying to triangulate truth, triangulate, reality. That is the number one thing we are trying to do here. So when you look at BlackRock is trending, at least on my Twitter right now, and you're seeing all these articles, all these things going on. But the big thing is right now they're saying, again, there's a recession coming, there's big things coming. And who better to know that than BlackRock? So, when big people like that talk, we listen. We listen. It might not always be right, but we listen. And we see what we can glean from that, see how we can prepare. But again, separate the signal from the noise. There's so many good things going on about Bitcoin. If you look underneath the layer, that first layer of just the media and what the narrative they want to sell you, you go right under there. Again, you can see exactly what's going on, the unbelievable use cases for Bitcoin, what it's doing for people all around the world, you know, owning their own wealth, their own property, not being rug pulled, cleaning up the environment, using renewables. Mind-blowing, absolutely mind-blowing. So BlackRock, who knows? They're getting their stuff together. They're battening down the hatches. They're like, hey, we're pulling out of ESG stuff, or you know, or at least the states are in America. A lot of them are starting to pull out of the ESG funds. BlackRock's starting to, you know, they're starting to see the writing on the wall. They're like, okay, whoa, you know, they're calling time. Like hey, things are going to be interesting going forward. So get prepared. This is why we say constantly here to finish this video, get prepared, get independent, get resilient. This is the words of 2023 going forward. Resiliency. Recycling, I think, my 2020 word. I always have a word of the year, resiliency. Have to get resilient, because the less we need to rely on daddy BlackRock, daddy government, nanny state, cradle to grave type of stuff, the more freedom, the more liberty we all have, the more commerce, the more trade, the more free market endeavors, lowering prices of everything, raising the standard of living. That is the signal. That is what's in all this, between all this, and seeing what's going on, and the freedom-loving people. We don't need many. 1 to 3%, 1 to 5% of an irate, intransigent majority or minority. If we are loud enough and we make our voices heard, we can make a difference for all people. This is a battle for all of us, even people that don't understand. And this is a point that doesn't get talked about a lot, but there's a lot of non-playable characters, a lot of NPCs that just go about their life, and they're unfortunately useful idiot. You know, and I don't say that in a disparaging way. It's just the non-playable character. That's probably a better way to say it, right? And you know, Lenin, Stalin, you know, they talked about useful idiots, and it's people that aren't paying attention. It's not that they're idiots; they're just not paying attention. They just don't care. They're apathetic. They think, no, nothing can happen. You know, like it's 2022. It's America. It's the Western world. It's Europe. Nothing could happen here. That's exactly when things happen here. So let's get prepared. Let's get resilient. Food, energy, water, security, Bitcoin, gold, silver. Get prepared. Remove yourself from the system. It's time to roll. Appreciate you. Let me know your comments in here, your questions, how we can do better, how we can provide you better information, entertainment going forward. If you don't like it, please let us know that as well. What you don't like, please share it. If you do like it, and if you don't like it, we'll battle it out in the comments here. And please like and subscribe as well. And I also, lastly, appreciate your time, your attention, your energy. It's the most important asset we have. And Bitcoin is time. Time is Bitcoin. The only two finite assets I know. Still, I don't have anyone that's let me know of any other finite asset out there other than those two things. So appreciate you guys. We'll see you on the next one.